Hello and welcome back to the new video. So in this video I'm going to show you how we can set up a CI/CD using GitHub Actions. So this is something similar to the Jenkins, but or we can also say that there are similar features in GitLab, but in this video I'm going to use the GitHub Actions for CI/CD. Okay, so in this video what we are going to do is we will have one flask app on my local PC. I will push it to the GitHub and I will use GitHub Actions. So basically I will write one YAML file, and what that will do is that will push the any if there is any changes on my GitHub repo, it will push it to the Docker container running inside the EC2 and EC2 on the AWS cloud. So this will be my entire setup. So what are the things that is required for this project to complete? So first we need GitHub account, so you can create GitHub accounts. Then we need Git installed on your computer, and you will need one EC2 instance or AWS account on which we can create a EC2 instance. And what are the things we are going to learn in this video? So we will need we will learn Linux, we will know how to use GitHub, Bash script. We will be launching EC2 instance on the AWS. We will install Docker on the EC2 instance, and how we can Dockerize Docker container. We will create, and so since I am going to use one Flask app, so I will first run on my local PC just to verify that it is running properly or not. And then for that I will just create I will need to import some libraries. So instead of installing it globally, I will create a virtual environment and I will run that Flask app, and then I will be writing the CI/CD pipeline. I will be using nginx. So these are the things I'm going to use. So first step, let's create one repo on the GitHub. So this is my GitHub account. So if you don't have GitHub account, you can just create a GitHub account. So click a new and name some GitHub repo name. So I will name it my Flask app. So I think it is already present there, my new flasks. So yeah, so this is available. I will make it private and I will just click on create. Okay, so one repo name, my new flask, is created now. So if you don't have access, I mean if you want to push the code to the this repo from your local PC, or if you want to download the code on this GitHub repo to your local PC, then you either need to use HTTPS or SSH. But in this project I am going to use SSH. The reason I will let you know later. That is basically required while writing the CI/CD pipeline. So let's select this SSH and then copy this link. So if you see here, we have the list of command that we need to perform just to push the code that is on my local PC to this repo. So first I'm going to clone this empty repo. So copy this and then git clone. So let's enter inside this project. So currently it is empty because the this repo is empty. So first initialize the git, and then if since I'm going to use one Flask app, so I will so I have one blog on my Medium, so and I have explained there the entire process for that. So I will put this link in the description sections, but for now I'm just copying this code. And what this will do is basically import a Flask and then print hello world, this is a Flask web app. So this is a basic Flask app. So copy this and save this. Now let me verify if the Python is installed on my computer. Yeah, so seems like Python is not, sorry, Python 3 is installed, I guess. Yes, so I have Python 3 installed, and let me verify if the git is installed. So I have git also installed on my computer now. So I have one file here. So if I try to, since it is a Flask app, so if I try to run python 3 app.py, it will show error because I need to import this Flask. So instead of importing globally, I will just create one virtual environment. So I will create one virtual environment name venv, hit enter. I need to activate the virtual environment, so venv bin activate, and now I need to install the Flask. So if you see here, I have a virtual environment named venv, so I have installed the Flask in this virtual environment. Now let's try to run this Flask app. So if you see here, it is running on 5000. Just to verify, I will go to the browser and paste it here. If you see here, it is running on my local computer. Okay, so now let's push this project to my GitHub account. So first I will stop this, git add app.py, right? Okay, so this is added. Now I need to commit to, so my first commit, right? And git push-cu origin and my main repo. So once the code is pushed to my my new Flask repo, okay, so once this task is completed, I will write one Docker file to Dockerize it. So let's reload the page here. Seems like there is internet issue at my end. Okay, so if you see here, now it has been pushed to main branch. So let's reload the page. Okay, so I have now this app file being uploaded. Now to dockerize it, I need to write one docker file, hit enter, and I will just copy paste from here. So hit enter. So let me explain this docker file. So first it is going to import the base image python 3.8 slim buster. Basically this is the lightweight image to run the python project, and I will create one working directory name python dash docker, and then I will copy the requirement. So basically the requirement consists of the packages that is required to run the app.py. So this app.py, and I will copy dot means copy the content of current directory, means these files to the this directory python docker inside the docker image, right? And this command will use python 3, and then it will run the flask, and that will be accessible from anywhere. So basically this is the docker file. Okay, so let's move further. Now I am going to create a docker compose file. So what this will do is this will run the container created using this docker file. So whatever container will be created using this docker file from the content of this docker file. So this docker compose file will be managing that. So let's copy this, and so basically this docker compose file is written in 3.d3 format, and then after that I will be having services. The name of the service is app file, and I will be creating container name of flask website from this this docker file. So the container name created from this docker file, the name will be flask website, and the image we will create is, it will be flask app. So if you see here, this docker container, this project will by default run on 5000 port. So if it needs to be accessible from outside the container, so it will be accessible from 5000. So there is 5000 to 5000 mapping. Let's save this project and push this to the repo. So before that, since we have one requirement, we need to create one requirement file. So pip3 freeze and requirement.text. So let's check the content inside the requirement. So the requirement to create the to run the app.py, that is flask app. So this is being populated inside this requirement.text file. So git add docker file, and then requirement.txt and docker file. So add this one. So adding let's push this to the repo. Okay, let's reload the page. So we have created docker file, docker compose YAML file. Now we will need to create the CI/CD YAML file. So I will just do it now. So let's check the repo. So it is, since it is taking okay, it's done. So we are able to push this requirement.txt docker compose file app. Now one thing we need to care about while creating a GitHub Actions file is we need to know that the path should be so there should be one hidden file.github. Inside that there should be one directory called workflows, and inside that we will be writing the CI/CD pipeline file. So mkdir-p and then dot github and workflows, right? And inside that inside I'm going to create one AWS file. So I will just copy this for now from here and I will paste it here. Okay, so let me explain. So basically our project will be on main branch. So push and pull both will be our main branch. The name of the app will be Flask web app, and then we will be using deploying on Ubuntu. So our AWS on AWS I will be creating one EC2 instance using Ubuntu. And the main thing we need to concentrate is so secret.host. So this is one variable and this will be the public IP of the EC2 instance, username of the EC2 instance, and SSH key of the EC2 instance for to pull the code or pull the code from the GitHub. So and port will be 22, and there will be one script running on the EC2 instance, and that the path will be here docker production.sh. So I will be explaining you more things step by step, but for now let's push this directory .github. So let's push the added CI/CD pipeline file. Okay, so this is completed. Now let's reload the page. Okay, so this part is done, and now we need to host one EC2 instance on the AWS. Deploy the EC2 instance now. So let's go to AWS console and search for EC2 instance. Click on instance, and I'm going to create one Ubuntu server. My flask app I will name, so you can select Amazon Linux, different operating system, but since this is for testing purpose, I'm just going to use the Ubuntu, and that will be a free tier eligible. So it's Ubuntu 24.04, right? And T2 micro, so it will have 1 vCPU and 1 GB RAM, and it's free eligible. Now I will create new key pair, so I will name it as AWS key, and I will just select PIM because I have Mac OS. My operating system is Mac OS. If you have Windows, you can select PPK, but in my case it is Mac, so I'm going to select .pim and create file. This will create one file and it is downloaded. Now coming to the SSH part, so for now I will only allow SSH from my IP, and I will allow HTTP and HTTPS for now, since we are going to create a web server, and let's have a storage of 8 GB, so it's fine. Now click on launch the instance. So it may take a couple of minutes for the installation is to complete. So it is successfully created. Now let's go to the instance. Okay, so the instance is in a pending state. Okay, so it's running. So if you see here, it has private IP of 172.31.16.144 and public IP is this one, 52. So let's go to the terminal, and so first we need to change the permission. So it is in download folder in my case, so 400 download, and the name is AWS key, I guess. Yeah, okay. Now let's SSH to the server. So SSH -i, the username is Ubuntu in case of AWS, and the public IP of this server, so the public IP is this one. We have to now specify the -i. After that I, we have to specify the AWS key. So AWS key.pim and SSH. Yes. Okay, so inside, we are inside the server now. apt8 get update to update the packages. Okay, so it is updated. Now I am going to create one directory called docker inside root partition, so that, and inside docker I will be storing all the projects here, right? So first now let's generate the key pair, or before generating the key pair, let's install the docker on the server, since in our diagram inside the EC2 instance we have docker installed. So install docker, just search for that, and okay, so this is for removing the conflicting package. So copy this and paste it here. So it will uninstall if there is any conflicting packet. Now installed using apt repository. So let's enter the command one by one. So it is updated. Install C certificate and call install this command, and then run this command, and again apt get update. Okay, now to install the latest version of Docker, copy this and run this. So once this Docker is installed, we will verify and then install the Docker Compose. So instead of this documentation, I am going to use digital ocean documentation here. So before that, so the installation of the Docker is completed. So to verify if it is installed or not properly, docker -- version, yeah, and we have 26.1.3. so now it's time to install the Docker Compose. So basically Docker Compose manages a container. So let's copy this and paste it here, change the mode here. So Docker Compose command is there, means Docker Compose is also installed now. Okay, now we need to pull the project from our GitHub repository, and for that we are not going to use HTTPS here to download the code. So we are not going to use HTTPS here, we are going to use SSH. So for that we need to create the key pair. So keys in, so we don't put password here. Now so that PID is running in the background. Now so this keygen is completed, means this should be okay. So seems like this is the key here. So this is the private key. So now let's copy the public key. Sorry, this is private key. So .pub. So this is a public key. I'm going to copy this, and in our project section, go to settings, right, and under deploy key, add key, and this is AWS server. and paste it here, add the key. So now it's asking for confirmation, let's confirm it. Okay, now the key is added here. Now let's verify that if git is installed or not. So git is already installed, so I'm going to SSH, select SSH, copy this, and then git clone, and run the command. Okay, so we have now project inside my new flask. So cd my new flask. Right now we have docker file, our project app.py, docker compose yaml, requirement.txt. so now it's time to up the container. So referring to my article now, so git checkout main, we already are on main branch, so just to verify that this is main branch. So and now so docker ps new container is running, so docker compose up -t. So this will create one docker container. It's installing the requirement. Now check the container, so the container is running on port 500. So sorry, 5000. So okay, it is not, sorry, telnet. So yeah, so it is connected, so the container is running now. For the web server we are going to use nginx. So let's install the nginx. Sorry, so I'm inside, so install the nginx, confirm it. So the installation is complete. So go inside nginx, etc nginx, conf.d, and you can see inside it's empty. So I will create one conf file inside this conf.d directory, but make sure that the name the extension of the file created inside this conf.d is conf. So beam, so I will be using here a domain as, so you can put any name, but in my case I'm going to use this, and then sorry, conf. So you can put any name, but just to make easy, so that people can easily understand what is the file domain used inside this file. I'm just naming at istar.com.np, and make sure that the extension is conf. Hit enter and copy this file, and I'm going to explain this file. So basically server name, so we have to put here domain name, so not this one. So it should be either iusr.com.mp or www.iusr.com.mp. so whatever request come here on this, either this domain or this domain, so it should be proxied, or it should be redirected to http on my local host, and it's on port 5000, because my project Docker container is running on 5000, and these are the parameter for the best practice in case of proxy pass. So I will just put this medium link in the description section, so you can just refer that. So I'm going to save this. Now there is one more file, default file, and then inside that there is a default file, so we need to comment that. Sorry, not inside this file. So beam nginx.conf file. So let's go to the line where it is configured to serve the default path. So since if you see here, we have two paths, site enabled and another is .conf. So and this one is the default path, so I'm just going to comment this line and save this. Sorry, nginx reload. So it's reloaded, and if you see here, just to verify the configuration, so that this configuration file is correct or not, so you can use nginx-t, and if it is successful, so configuration is successful here and test is also successful, means our this configuration file is correct, there is no any syntactical error. Now it's time to check whether our website is running or not. So let's go to the EC2 instance here, and let's copy this public IP and go to the tab and hit enter. So if you see here, hello world, this is my Flask app, and this is the same project we have. So it has one returning this value, this string hello world, this is a Flask app. So yeah, so our website part is completed, we are able to host this. Now it's time for CI/CD configuration. So go to this directory .github workflows, and we already have one file here. So now we have to configure the host. So host is the public IP of the web server, username is the username of the web server, and this is the private key of the web server. So host variable, so what we can do is go to setting, so secret and variables, actions, it's a host. So let's go to the server, copy this and for this public IP, save. Now the next variable was, I guess, username. So username and its root, save this. Now another was I guess it was SSH key. So I'm just going to configure the SSH key. And since I'm inside the server, and I'm going to copy this private IP from here and put it here, save this. Okay, now so we are able to now configure the variables or secrets here. Now let's go to the YAML file again, and inside this we have configured that this deploy production.sh script should be inside the Docker directory. So just I'm going to inside this directory, so pwd/docker and vim and deploy production.sh. so whatever name, and then starting deployment, and then we need to go to the directory where we have our project. I just forget the name of the directory, so it's my flask my flask. So just click this, and yeah, this is fine. And then git pull, so this script will pull the code from the project if there is any changes on the repository. So git pull, and then docker compose down, and docker compose opt st and this is build, and then deployment complete. Make this script executable, and so what basically this will do is this script will echo this message, and then this will go to the docker my new flask where our project is, and then this will change. So if there is any changes on the repo, it will pull that changes. This will down the container and then up with the new changes, and then lastly we will have message that deployment is complete. Right, so host name is the host name of the server, username of the server, private key of the web server on AWS, and this is the script. So this pipeline will be executed once there is any changes in the in this project. Now let's go to the here, and you need to now edit the inbound rules. So sorry, so this is not the password. I think it should be from February. Yeah, so and make sure that the SSH is allowed, so you can put the IP of this GitHub, but just so that GitHub Actions can SSH to the server. So I for now have just put the any IP slash and this save this rule. And once this is done, let's go to the EC2 instance again and open the public IP. So this is the content of the currently deployed login here. Now what I'm going to do is, so let's go to the action sections here and let's change something and push it to the Docker container. So pi, so I will put here testing CI/CD on AWS server. So just save this and then after pi commit and origin main. So once this is done, so this is pushed. Now let's go to the server and go to the code base first and check that the logging is added here. Now go to the action section and if you see here, the pipeline is running, it's deploying. So once this is deployed, so the task is completed. Now let's reload the page. Okay, so you can see that hello world, this is a web and testing CI/CD on AWS server. It means whatever changes I'm doing on my local project and I am just pushing it to the GitHub, and with the help of GitHub Actions, it is the corresponding change is being made in the Docker container logging. I mean the Flask app running inside this Docker container, and we are able to see the changes here, CI/CD on AWS server, right? So if you see here, now you may have a question, right? So we are only using on secure connection public IP. So for that you need to have one domain. So you can either buy from Cloudflare or GoDaddy, or there are many domain providers, so you can buy from there. So I have one domain, so it's this ayusar.com.np. so now what I need to do is, so I need to add a record, so it should be www and the public IP of the server. So let's go to the AWS instance and edit here and save the changes. So AWS is root, so and by default this Cloudflare redirect the request to the HTTPS and provide HTTPS secure connections. So instead of now using this IP here, I'm going to use the domain. So copy this and then HTTPS, and let's run this command. Yeah, so now we can see this. Now again make some changes here. AWS server, and this is final testing. m.py final testing pushed as origin main. So once this is completed, now go to the repo and again click on actions. So new pipeline is created, and we can see that after change the pipeline is triggered. Now let's log into the server again. So job is complete. Docker ps, you can see that just it has been created in last 8 seconds, right? And so we can see that latest login in is here. Now let's go to the this domain and let's reload the page, and we can see that this is final testing. Yeah, so in this way, so we have completed the complete CI/CD. So at last, let me brief it again. So we have local code that is being pushed on the GitHub, and we have a Git pipeline YAML file we have written for that, and then GitHub Actions trigger the one script on the Docker EC2 instance, and on the EC2 instance there is a Docker container running, so it will pull the changes from the that script will pull the changes from the GitHub repo, and then we'll rebuild the Docker image. And finally we used so there was already one domain name I have registered, so you can buy from different sources, and I have just added a record here on the Cloudflare, and Cloudflare provides HTTPS